Hello everybody, my name is Travis the Tech Gamer, and welcome to my, last part of my reveal series, I guess, before I start to do the build for the Ryzen Sun. So this is going to be the motherboard of choice. It is the B450M DS3H. It is an AM4 socket. It came in the mail, and I decided I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what I was going to be using in terms of the skeleton of our build. So I kept this in mind with the B450M, since it is the next step up instead of the B350. I went with this so that way if I upgraded the CPU or APU in this case, then I can actually upgrade knowing that this board can actually stay in the system, and I can definitely utilize it to the fullest of its ability. So with that said in mind, I kept upgradability in mind when thinking of this build. And this is going to be an entry-level gaming system, so as you can see, there is definitely a path, at least with the motherboard, that I can go ahead and take this on. Anyways, to our accessory, because really we don't have much, it's kind of a bare bones box here. So this is our SATA data connector. We've got one right angle and one straight one. Right angle connectors are really good for your optical drives or your storage media, such as your hard drives or your SATA drives. So before I get to the motherboard itself, let me go ahead and take this out and show you what's underneath it. I'm pretty sure there's always more before we get to the good part. So we have our I/O shield, or otherwise known as our input-output shield. The main reason behind this is to basically protect your ports, your USB ports, your audio ports from electrostatic discharge, or ESD. Depending on how much you spend on your motherboard will depend on whether or not it will look like this, or if it will have a nice fancy graphic design on it. So what we see here underneath the manual, we have our driver disc. Really good if you do have a optical drive. If not, then you can easily utilize the manufacturer's site, as I will be when I finish with the build. This is our manual. This is by far probably the best manual I've seen, because all it does is shows you the layout of the motherboard, names those parts, and gives you the layout of your USBs. And obviously doesn't want to leave the box. So let me go ahead and push these tabs in, push this box in, and let me show you guys the main course. So what I'm basically unwrapping this from, this is a anti-static bag. Pretty much has the same purpose as the I/O shield in a sense, where it helps to preserve any electrical component that's inside of it from unwanted ESD. So here is our motherboard. So it has a nice little black and gray look to it, pretty clean. So we have 4 DIMM slots here, so that means that we can fit up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. Keep in mind that depending on the generation of your motherboard will depend on how much RAM you can actually put on here. So we got our 24 pin connector, or you might see it as 20 and 4 or 20 plus 4. We have our 8-pin EPS connector, or CPU power connector, and that you also see that as a 4+4 or 4x4. We have our power phasers right here, our VRM heatsink. So basically this kind of dictates how we can overclock our system, and it looks like it's pretty decent. We have our 2 PCIe lanes, and it's PCIe, one way you can tell is by the locking mechanism here. PCI never really had a locking mechanism, so to speak, and this is going to be our by 16 and our by 8. And this right here is our by 1, so if you have, let's say, a network card or something like that, you can definitely hook it up right here. So yeah, here's our SATA ports right here. We got 4 of them there, and that's pretty much it. We got some fan headers and whatnot, but let's go ahead and look. Oh yeah, and this is our chipset, by the way, our chipset heatsink. I like the gold naming there. So let me go ahead and adjust here. So what we have here, starting from this end, we got our PS/2, not PS2, haha, port. So that's going to be for your older mice and or keyboard. If you still rock with that, kudos to you. You have 2 USB 2.0 4 USB 3.0, another 2 USB 2.0, your gigabit Ethernet, your sound, so like mic in, mic out, or speaker in, speaker out, and your mic ports. You have your DVI-D, since this is not analog. One way you can tell if it's analog or not, if you see like a little plus sign here. So you see like a minus sign, that's going to be DVI-D. And here's our onboard HDMI ports. So thank you very much. This is pretty much going to be my unboxing and I guess like quick rundown of the B450M DS3H motherboard. If you liked it, you can go ahead and put your thumbs up. If you didn't, you can always put a thumbs down. And if you want, go ahead and share this video so others can learn a little bit more about what this is. If you'd like me to go a little bit more into detail or stuff like that on about these kind of about motherboards in general or computer components, please put it in the comment section below that you would like me to do that. And I'm pretty sure I can be more than happy to do that for you. Oh, and one more thing before we end this video, we do have our NVMe slot right here, so you can definitely utilize our NVMe drive or NVMe SSD drive if you choose to. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next video or whatever I decide to do, and do not forget to subscribe for more.